The Digimon TCG was released in April 24th, 2020 in Japan. It started with 3 different structure decks: Gaia Red, Cocytus Blue, and Heavenly Yellow. These would be the first primary colors of the game in its first set of BT1, with the small exception of a few white cards. The game would later expand its options in BT2 with the introduction of purple, black, and green. Currently now, there's over 1,500 different cards with 9 main sets and 2 side sets. And now you're probably wondering why I'm telling you this. Well, it's because I need an intro. Yo, what's up everybody? My name is Marcus, better known as Cthulhu. Welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about one card I will remove from each color in the Digimon TCG. Now, before we get into the selections, I do just want to have a brief disclosure here. When I say remove/ban, I don't necessarily mean that these cards are broken and they need to get banned. More so just cards I wish we as a community would just move past from. They've been here for far too long, they've had their heyday, and I think it's time we just kind of put some of them to rest and move on to different cards. Now, starting off, I will be going through the 3 primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. Starting off with red. And my choice to remove from red would be the iconic option card, Gaia Force. Now hear me out. Gaia Force in itself is not an incredibly broken card. It is a very powerful card. You know how they say in Yu-Gi-Oh! That those old cards with one-line text are usually stupid broken? Well, that's this. It's just a simple option card that says, delete one of your opponent's Digimon. And it is so incredibly simple, because other option cards have some kind of extent to them, right? Certain DP thresholds, level thresholds. Are they suspended? Are they unsuspended? Do they have Digivolution sources? That doesn't matter with Gaia Force. It is the most powerful removal option in the game. It doesn't matter who it is, what they're doing, it's gone. It's getting deleted. And this card 100% wins games. Whether you're hard playing it on your turn to get rid of that huge stack your opponents spent 4 or 5 turns building up to, and you just get rid of it for them, or they swing it into security and they just lose their lethal, or they just lose their big boss monster. It absolutely is a huge momentum changing game. And it's been around forever. It's been around since the structure decks, the first introduction of the game. And Red has pretty much always used it, or if not, they try to use it. And with the introduction of the side deck, I don't doubt it's going to see more play, more than ever. I mean, people are going to splash it in, and security control. It's just something that I wish we could just move past on. I love the card. It's a super iconic move in the Digimon series itself with War Greymon. But I mean, it's just so old. I think it's time we move past it. There's bigger and better things coming. More widespread removal with Giga Storm and Atomic Blaster on the way. And, Gaia Force can fall into the Regeki kind of esque category if you want to compare it to something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, moving on to blue, there is something I do want to discuss real quick here, because honestly, I wanted to make this diverse as possible, but blue and yellow are so hard because they both have the same card I want to remove. And that is the Memory Tamers, Davis and TK. My God, there is not a card more used than Davis and TK. Blue and yellow will always play these 2 cards. They are incredibly powerful. Not broken, but incredibly powerful. Every color would love a Davis. Every color would love a TK. They fix your hands by adding 1 to 2 Digimon with Davis, adding a card with TK, and fixing your security. They're insanely powerful cards, and they're always pretty much going to be used for the foreseeable future unless better tamers come out, which I really don't see happening. We're on BT9 now, and it's kind of not getting any better. People still want to play Davis. People still want to play TK, and I don't blame them. But I wish we could move past it. I wish they could just disappear and promote healthier deck building, because everyone's go-to with blue is like, okay, my tamer is going to be Davis. That's going to be the tamer I play for this deck. Vice versa with yellow. So I feel like a cop-out saying for blue and yellow would be both tamers. So for the sake of entertainment, I will pick a second option for blue. Although ultimately, if I had to pick one of them to leave, I would definitely pick Davis. Mostly and based solely on the fact that Blue has another memory tamer in BT1 Matt. Although also very old, not as powerful, they have one. They have another memory tamer to play other than Davis. Yellow doesn't. They have other tamers, but they're not memory tamers like TK is. So I would default to Davis going away. But I digress, and I'm going to pick a second option for Blue, and that would be the other iconic option card in Hammerspark. Hammerspark suffers the same issues that Gaia Force has. It's stupid old, and it wins games in security. I mean, if you're swinging for lethal and you check into Hammerspark, double, triple Hammerspark, and your turn ends, then you lose. If you were going all in that turn and your opponent can come back, I mean, that can lose you the game. And it also just helps out with degenerate combos, extending out, again, that simple text, gain one memory. That one memory can make all the difference between winning and losing the game. It's just something that's going to always be played in Blue. Sometimes people do kind of opt out of it sometimes. But with the side deck, they could just side that engine in if they need it. I mean, there is hard counters to it with the memory stopping Digimons like Terriermon and Gazemon. So it has a bit of a hindrance. It's not as bad as Gaia Force, I think, has it, or as bad as Gaia Force is. But it's still just another super overplayed card that's been around forever. Now going on to Yellow. Yellow for me was, I don't have another pick. I don't think Yellow really has any other like overly used cards other than TK. The other tamers, Kari, TK and Kari. Again, another brief side note here. I am speaking in a vacuum for BT, like talking about all the sets we've had up until BT9, but realistically I'm going off experience with just the BT7 play that I've seen thus far. I don't know too much about BT8, and BT9 just got to Japan. So I will be speaking in a blanket term, but really most of my experience just comes from the BT7. That being said, there's not really a lot of cards I see Yellow overusing a lot, other than, they just got Wyvern's Breath last set, which is something that they're using a lot more now, but nothing that's gotten, beaten to death, by stick or anything. It would probably solely just be TK. I really do believe that. I think TK is the only one, and maybe Bushy. People do have an asphyxiation on Bushy, but it's not really everywhere. I mean, people just kind of throw it in there. It's nothing compared to like Red and Blue, how I've described. So I would pretty much only pick TK for Yellow. Now going on to Purple, this was an easy, hard choice because there's two cards and they're both equally problematic. And I have a feeling you know what I'm going to mention here. I'm talking about the edgy emo queen Lilithmon and her broken card, option card, Jackraid. I mean, it's not really her option cards, but it is, you know what I mean? Jackraid and Lilithmon are so annoying, and people will not stop trying to, keep this card cracked. They're always trying to figure out a way how to, keep the combos going. How can I loop it again? How can I break the game using this? And they just refuse to let it die. They absolutely refuse to let these two card combos die. It's so annoying. I don't even like playing against it. It's not that it's particularly super great, because half the time Purple players don't even know what they're doing. They're just kind of hoping it works out the more times they play cards. So it's just something I just don't like to see anymore. Purple has so much potential, and they just keep caveating themselves back to this Lilith Jackraid combo because they refuse to give up on. And if I had to pick one, it would probably be Lilith because she's the source of the degeneracy with her effect. But Jackraid itself is also kind of just annoyingly and broken too. And who's to say that there's not going to be another card that comes out that's going to get it broken? So either one of those two, you can pick. I don't really care. I hate them both. Going on to Black. Black was a hard pick for me because Black isn't particularly super powerful. They don't really have anything that they can cheese their way to. I think the only thing I could possibly think of would probably be Mechanori, Mechanori is super annoying to deal with. It is really strong in a super niche way if you aren't expecting it, and it's you have to deal with Mechanori sometimes to play around. Now some decks obviously don't care, they're like, Mechanori, great, don't give a damn, right? And that can happen a lot. But if you're not playing those kinds of decks and you have to deal with the Mechanori, it's super annoying, and it could really cause the game to drag on and slow down, but that's kind of what Black wants to do sometimes. It's going to be a great side card against some decks. I mean, if you're playing Rookie Rush, you deserve to get bodied by Mechanori anyway, so I don't really feel bad for you. It's just a great side card for pretty much any deck that has a problem getting rushed against. So I think it's a great card. I don't really think it's like super overused to the point yet. It is relatively pretty new in the English format, but it definitely sees a lot of play, and it definitely is annoying. Now talking about green. Green was also kind of a hard choice because every time green gets good, it's always something different. They had the Sarasmon's engine was a little different than the green OTK. Of course, there was some similarities with some of the stuff like they did with the Digi absorption just to get to level 6 higher, but it was good for different reasons. Right now, green is kind of in the bottom of the meta in the BT7 English format. People are trying to crack it, trying to figure out what works with it. But there's nothing like reoccurringly annoying about them. If I had to pick one card that I do find annoying from them that I wish people would let go, would definitely be Nidhogg. Nidhogg is one of those cards that it has a really niche following. It's a really cheesy, gimmicky gotcha card. People who are playing against green and don't expect people to play, a card like Nidhogg because it is old and it is easy to play it around against if you aren't expecting it, or if you are expecting it. And so most of the time people aren't expecting it, and they get a good Nidhogg turn off, and then they pop off and they feel so good about themselves because it's just a big gotcha moment, and they think that they're gonna win the match. But in reality, the person isn't gonna fall for another Nidhogg again. It's been around for so long, people kind of know how to play against it now, but green players are still teching it in, are still trying to get those moments of, oh, you didn't play around my Nidhogg, and then they try to get you in those gotcha moments, and it's just kind of annoying. I wish they would let it go already. Now, wrapping this off, we are going to be discussing white. White isn't really a particularly archetype type of color that doesn't have a whole deck dedicated to itself, other than the Eos Mob, but that is also supposed to be technically a green deck alongside it. It's a green-white. There is no pure white archetype deck. It's just option cards and usually the level 7s. Nonetheless, though, I do still have a selection for it, and this one might be a little bit controversial. Maybe not really. Maybe some of y'all agree with me. I would definitely get rid of Analog Boy. I think it's a super generic support card that is really busted, and it can promote some super degenerate combos, and it's so splashable. Like I said, any color can play it. Super generic, and it's a 2 cost, so it's easy to stack, and getting those plays off where you can just tap 2-3 of them, gain 2-3 memory, keep it your turn, go for game. Biggest example would be the red hybrid line, going for the ancient Greymon play, swing for 2-3 checks. It dies, tap 3 analog, goes back to your turn probably, and then you can go finish off with another card for game, possibly. Purple cracks it because it's a white option card. They used to have to play a different one in order to use like Mega Digimon Fusion or win weight 60% now. It's just it's like the best tamer white card there is. And it's just so good, and it's really annoying and super splashable. I kind of don't want to see it anymore. Even though it is relatively pretty new to the English format, I don't like seeing it. I think it's just really good. I think it's too good, actually. I think it's really too good. Well, that just about does it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below if you agree with my selections, or if you don't. If you want to call me dumb, if you want to pick other cards, let me know down there. And as always, let's open the digital gate.